Do you sometimes feel like movies and games and stories lose the ability to surprise you? That even if they're not bad, you still know where everything is going and that gets a little boring? Well, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim is the complete opposite of that feeling. It's the kind of work that will have you thinking about it for months and will rekindle your faith that there will always be a new, untold story out there. This review contains no spoilers for the game, and I'll be showing footage from its prologue only. This is the kind of game that the least you know beforehand the better, and if you like sci-fi, you'll love 13 Sentinels. This game is like a love letter to science fiction. There are so many references all around the story. You have your E.T., you have your Terminator, you have Men in Black, you have World of Worlds, and so many others. And you can feel the passion for sci-fi that writer and director George Kamitani put in this title through these references. But it's not just about these references. 13 Sentinels creates its own amazing storyline by going outside of expectations in the genre deliberately. It knows exactly how to trick the player into assuming that they think they know what's going on, but going in complete opposite directions. This happens exactly because Kamitani knows all the cliches and staples in the sci-fi genre, so he feeds players information that they'll accept at face value, since they're so used in stories. But you'll just be scratching the surface, which leads to more surprises by the twists and turns the story offers. And nothing about these twists are unfair to the player, mind you. The writing is consistent and doesn't pull any rabbits out of their hats. At some point we've all had to swallow one of those random plot twists, right? Because sometimes media can do that by breaking key premises in the universe they're set. Usually in a series because they have to retcon a lot of details, but 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim has none of this. The pieces are all there for the audience to pick up, but you'll be the one assuming things when you shouldn't. So you keep updating your knowledge to form the bigger picture of the puzzle, as all details have been well thought out and developed during the narrative. The game also has a very unique take on storytelling. As you may have guessed from the title, we have no more, no less than 13 protagonists, all of which you can play with and follow their own view of events. This number probably has you thinking, here we go again for some anime confusing shenanigans. And you're right, it is kind of funny and gimmicky, but their individual stories are relatively small, so you won't be playing this for hours and hours without end. The game was designed to have a normal duration, and it's not hard keeping track of their stories since you were also presented ways to keep track of events quite easily. And one of the most impressive things in 13 Sentinels is how they convey the protagonists' personalities through their stories. The gameplay follows one set of rules for all of them, but the structure and how they're used vary immensely when you switch characters, as does their storytelling. For example, Yuki Takamiya is a delinquent and she has to look after herself, so she's very cautious. This translates to her story having lots of information gathering. She collects all evidence she can before making her moves, so she's like a detective. On the other hand, you have a character like Yori Fuyusaka. She's a normal high school girl who likes hanging out with her friends and doing normal things, but she wants to have her own adventures. So her story revolves around going out to eat with her friends while also daydreaming about events that have already transpired. And you may think to yourself, how the hell can there be 13 different ways of storytelling? Well, there just are, the game is that clever. You have to see it to believe it, as I think getting into too much details can spoil the fun. You can always watch some footage of 13 Sentinels online as a sort of trial period. I did it myself and I recommend it. Just be careful not to get too hooked on the story before you get it yourself. Other than the main story, the game also has a segment consisting of real-time strategy gameplay, or RTS for short. When I bought 13 Sentinels, I thought this part would be such a bother and that I would just endure it for the main story, as I'm not familiar with the RTS genre and I thought I'd had a hard time with it because of this. But I ended up having a lot of fun with it too. It's definitely not something to go crazy about, but 13 Sentinels knows what its strong points are and uses the RTS battles in smart ways. First, you'll also be getting lore by playing it, as you'll be seeing the main cast interact before and after battles. Second, battles aren't that long, so you won't get bored while playing them. Third, at no point the game forces you to play at one difficulty or another. You can switch the difficulty from casual, normal, and intense at all times, and even trophies and achievements don't require you to play on one specific difficulty. This shows that developers knew that the game's strength came from its overarching story. These battles involving real-time strategy are also a great change of pace. The story is uncontestably great, but there is a huge amount of information to process as an audience. So changing that up to play a more active mode is great for players to get a break and digest all that information. If you're like me and you're not familiar with RTS combat, this poses no problem to you at all. I played it on the normal difficulty and it was pretty easy to clear missions. You could also go to casual mode to make things even easier, and the game also implements systems that will help you complete everything. I really liked the streak system, which will increase your final score on each map if you just keep winning stages. That allowed me to have more fun completing missions in different ways, while helping a lot on getting the best rankings. It sure simplified things in a great way. My only gripe with the RTS battles is the enemy designs. They all look pretty much identical, so it's hard keeping track of what's what. They don't use colors and shapes really well in their designs, so it can be really confusing. For those looking for more challenge, there's basically an infinite number of stages for you to play after you complete the game. While I had fun with this aspect of 13 Sentinels, it wasn't something I was super interested, so I didn't do it, which is great, right? If you like RTS, go crazy on these stages. If you don't even have to touch them. I appreciate how well thought out this game is in every single aspect. It doesn't try to waste your time with annoying chores, and while having two different game modes can make the game feel disjointed at first, it's definitely not the case, as they both bring out the biggest potential of each other. If you get this game, you experience one of the greatest storytelling in video games to date, guaranteed. I only wish I could keep my hype in the game in check, but also convince you to play it, because going in blind was a massive surprise and a super fun experience I'll never forget. 13 Sentinels pricing may be salty for most players, but you can always wait a little bit for a price drop or some kind of sales discount. And this was it for GamReviews. Finally broke that Square Enix curse. Woohoo! As always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the support. If you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like and or subscribing, but I'm sure you know the drill by now, right? It's always great getting some feedback as well. Falou e até mais!